Hi everyone, it's here from Nagel, and I just want to put out a disclaimer that this is not my best explanation of the poem. Um, I think the reason for it being is that it's difficult for me to talk about like a poem that talks about unity and peace when there's currently so much division and hatred within the world. I did this in class. I don't think it was good. I've done this a few times before where I've recorded it and I'm like, oh no, it's bad, so I'm going to delete it. But now I did this, the results are exactly the same, and I'm not going to feel different in 2 hours. So the world, it's still what it is. So I do apologize. I'll try to link in the description box, link other teachers' explanation of the poem that will be better than mine. So if you can't follow mine because it's not that good, please go to one of these teachers. They did an amazing job. And yeah, I apologize. I'm not a person who's able to remove like my emotions from like my work. I know it's not necessarily a good thing, but I also don't think it's a bad thing. So I do apologize though, and maybe in a few years' time I have to redo this poem if the world is hopefully at that point in a better place. So yeah.
Hallo almal, dis Juffrou Nagel en vandag doen ons Pryslied deur Antjie Krog. So today we're doing Pryslied deur Antjie Krog. Um, just like a little disclaimer, like all the photos in the background are my own, but the rest of them that I've used I got from the internet, and there's some of them where you have to state like who it's from, so I'll do that in the description box. And then you'll see in this poem, like it feels like I repeat myself quite a lot, but that sort of makes it obvious what the actual message or the theme of the poem actually is. So yeah, I think out of all the poems that we have in Matric, this is one of the nice ones, and it's actually not that difficult. So Pryslied deur Antjie Krog. Eer word op 'n mondelinge manier betoon, so just says that praise is being given in a verbal way. Biografiese data van die persoon wat besing word dikwels in besonderhede in die gedig betrek, gewoonlik 'n samevatting. So it just says like they do give a lot of like I don't even know how to pronounce it. Biographical. Is that right? I don't know. Information about the person that is being praised. They mention it in the poem. But obviously, although they mention quite a lot of the information, they do give sort of a summary of it. So you will see in this poem, they talk about Nelson Mandela's like family, but they don't mention every member in his family. They mention like his mom, his dad, his grandfather, and the man who raised him after his dad passed away. Digter gebruik Mandela se biografiese besonderhede as basis. So in this case, the poet for this praise song, the poet uses Mandela's biographical like details as a base for the poem. So basically, everything that we sort of have to see in a deeper way is based on his like details, the details about Nelson Mandela. 'n Pryssanger is 'n imbongi, tradisie in Afrika kulture om leiers met prysliedere te prys. So it just says like a praise singer, is that even a word, is an imbongi, and it's tradition in a lot of African cultures where you praise the leaders through song. Okay, so this is the poem, and then just a little disclaimer, like I do really struggle to pronounce some of the like African names or the surnames, and I really do apologize for that. I've tried so many times as well to do the click, and I just fail at it all the time, all day, every day. Even the kids in my class, after I've tried a few times, they're just like, "Ma'am, you need to stop." So yeah, I really do apologize for that. And then as I read the poem, make sure that you are listening out for like enyambement. I've indicated some of the alliteration assonance, but the enyambement obviously when one line flows into the other. And the only way you would realize that is if you actually listen to the poem. Okay, so let's go. In die sandlebaard vandag staan hy. Kop en skouers staan hy bo almal uit. Houtskool en as is sy hare. Hy, die sandkleurige seun van Enos Kenny. Enos Kenny, die ma van Mandela. Hy, die man met die vleesige palmkussings. Hier staan hy, uit die gevestigde familie van Ngubengcuka, die seun van Dalindyebo, die seun van Mandela. Hy van die rivieroewers by Nkunu, heelmaker uit die Tembu-stam. 'n Klein swart ster priem sy bolip. Ons prys hom, hy wat nie lag nie en nie huil nie. Eerste ratelaar van Kuntu Wesizwe, die swart pimpernel. Hy wat nie lag nie en ook nie huil nie. Hier staan hy dan nou voor ons, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, getrokke tak van lang gelede. Die sleepsel van sy blare lê wyd, legendaries is hy, opspoorder van harte. Hy maak die pante bymekaar van 'n verskeurde land. Hy draai ons na mekaar toe, vir mekaar. Hy, Heelmaker van mense, hy stig vrede. Vrede, die maal van groot nasies. So it's just the typography, but we're first going to look at like the inside of the poem, so die innerlike bou. So strofe 1 is a beskrywing, so the first stanza is a description of where Nelson Mandela is at this point. Okay, like where he's standing, you know, the moment, or like the moment in time that this poem is based on. Okay? Strofe 2, familiebesonderhede, so the second stanza is details of his family. Strofe 4, sy rol in die struggle tydperk, so the fourth stanza talks about his role during the struggle. Strofe 5, vertel ons meer van die naam Rolihlahla. So the fifth stanza tells us more about Nelson Mandela's name, Rolihlahla. Dan typografie, uiterlike bou, so what the poem physically just looks like, and that it has 6 stanzas and it has 31 lines. In die sandklip hart, so sandklip hart, it says in the sand rock heart. The sandklip hart literally refers to the picture that is just there, die Unie gebou, okay? Because sandklip, verharde sand waarmee die Unie gebou is. So the sand rock refers to like hardened sand that the Union buildings are built with. En dan hart, Unie gebou is die hart van die regering. So it just says like the heart refers to the fact that the Union building is like the heart of the government, obviously up to this day. It's like the main offices of the president. And then it's also like the heart of Pretoria. Like, so I was raised in Pretoria, and from a lot of points in Pretoria, you can actually see the Union buildings. Vandag staan hy. Today he stands. Vandag, 10 Mei 1994, inhuldiging as president. So the day that they're referring to is the 10th of May 1994, his inauguration as president. And then the Hiii, Nelson Mandela. So throughout the poem, you'll see like, we don't repeat the name Nelson Mandela or Mandela the whole time, or Rolihlahla the whole time. Whenever they talk about the Hiii, okay, the Hiii is referring to Nelson Mandela. And this was just him when he was there at the inauguration. Alleenplasing beklemtoon, so like, they put these 3 words like sort of alone. They're very short, like they're not even really a sentence. It's like a word and 2 words. And it's just there to emphasize the day and who he is. Because obviously we know this day in South Africa and this man in South African history means so much. Kop en skraal skouers staan hy bo almal uit. So it says like head and scrawny shoulders, he stands out above everyone else. So woordspeling, so play on words, baie effektief om Mandela se belangrikheid en grootheid te beklemtoon, letterlik, lank en skraal, figuurlik leier. So it's just a very good like play on words, saying that it not only describes literally what he looks like, but figuratively it emphasizes how important he is and what a good leader he is, that he stands out above everyone else. Houtskool en as is sy hare. So charcoal and ash is his hair. So if you look at this picture, you would obviously see that he's starting to go grey, and that's what it's referring to. So dis 'n metafoor, 'n metaphor. Hy is besig om grys te word. His hair is getting grey. So Hiii, die sandkleurige seun van Inosakeni. Inosakeni, die ma van Mandela. So it says him, the sand-colored son of Inosakeni. Inosakeni, the mom of Mandela. So sandkleurige, letterlik veldkleur soos die sandklip in Versdeel 1, figuurlik was hy die hart van die mense van die land. So it just says that literally like the sandkleurige refers back to the sandklip hart in line 1, which refers to the Union buildings. So literally what they're saying is that he's the sand colored, so it refers to his skin color, veldkleur skin color. But then figuratively, we know that the Union building is referred to as the heart of the country and of the government. So, you know, Pretoria. So this obviously also just means that he was the heart of the people of the country, of the nation. Hy aan die begin van die versdeel beklemtoon dat hy belangrik is. So the him that stands in front, like, you know, it starts the sentence with that. It emphasizes Nelson Mandela's importance. So Inosakeni was sy ma, it refers to his mother. Inkepping, so that indentation, that small little like open space, beklemtoon die ma se invloed in die vorming van 'n kind. So it just says like, it emphasizes like a mom's influence in like the sort of forming of a child, not just by raising the child obviously, but like you need the mom to carry the child for the child to be born. Hiii, die man met die vleesige palmkussings. This is him, the man with the meaty palm cushions. So the palm cushions obviously refers to the meaty part of the inside of your hand. So hy only begin van die versreel beklemtoon belangrikheid. So once again, it emphasizes his importance. So vleesige palmkussings, so the meaty palm cushions. Letterlik, hy het sagte groot hande gehad, so literally he had soft big hands. Figuurlik, hy het mense met vriendelikheid hanteer. Figuratively, treat people with gentleness. Is gentleness even a word? I don't know. And he was really nice to people. Even after everything he's been through, he was nice to the people who did all those bad things to him. So NBA het letterlik en figuurlik baie met sy hande gedoen. So she said, he did quite a lot literally and figuratively with his hands. Literally, it obviously referred to the actual fall in the struggle, and figuratively it could refer that, like, you know, even in the Union buildings, at the Union building, the statue of him, he's holding his hands out, almost like, you know, we call it like seën, so it's almost like he's blessing South Africa with his hands. And essentially with him becoming the first democratic president of a country, he did bless our country. Hier staan hy uit die gevestigde familie van Ngubengcuka, die seun van Dalindyebo, die seun van Mandela. So it just says, here he stands out of the established family of Ngubengcuka, the son of Dalindyebo, the son of Mandela. So hier staan hy, herhaling van versreel 3, alleenplasing beklemtoning. So it's just a repetition of line 3, and the reason it's there alone, and you know, it's put in this stanza that tells us about like Nelson Mandela's family, is it's just emphasizing once again where he's standing. And now we're going to his past to see what he, you know, like where he came from and how he came to become like the first elected democratic president, or like the first democratically elected president of South Africa. Uit die gevestigde familie, so the established family, bestaan al lank. The family has been like here for a very long time. Ngubengcuka, Oupa Grootjie, koning van die Tembu stam, so it refers to his great-grandfather. And it said, like, I found this on the internet though, so stand to be corrected, but it said that his great-grandfather was king of the Tembu tribe. Dalindyebo, Mandela se voog na sy pa se dood, het Mandela groot gemaak. So Dalindyebo refers to, he was also, according to me, like the Tembu king, or was he, like, I can't remember if he was like the stand-in king or if he was the king of the Tembu tribe. And what happened is he was like Mandela's guardian. So voog refers to a guardian after his father's death, and he essentially raised Mandela for a big part of Mandela's life. Mandela refers to Gatla Mandela, Mandela's pa, so it refers to Nelson Mandela's father. Herhaling skep eenheid, so the repetition of die seën, it just like creates like a unity within the poem. Hy van die rivieroewers by Nkunu, heelmaker uit die Tembu stam. So him from the riverside by Nkunu, healer from the Tembu stam, from the Tembu tribe. So rivieroewers by Nkunu, Mandela se geboorte en grootmaakplek naby 'n rivier, so it refers to where Nelson Mandela was born and where he was raised. So heelmaker, die healer, vredemaker, hy het 'n verdeelde volk weer heel gemaak. So it just says like he's a peacemaker, and he took like a divided group of people and he sort of brought them back together again. Okay, obviously we know it's not perfect, we know there's a lot of problems in our country still, but Nelson Mandela did play a massive role in sort of the unity that is within our country and within a lot of communities. Tembu stam, Mandela's deel van die Tembu stam, so it just says Mandela's part of the Tembu tribe. 'n klein swart ster priem sy bo-lip, so a small black star sits on top of his lip. So uiterlike beskrywing, hy het 'n musie op sy bo-lip, so it just refers to the fact that he has like a birthmark here on top of his lip. Figuurlik, hy is 'n ster of held in Suid-Afrika se geskiedenis, metafoor, sy musie word met 'n ster vergelyk. So this is a metaphor because his like birthmark is being compared, or saying it is like a star, and this figuratively also just means that he is like a star and a hero within South African history. So ons prys hom, hy wat nie lag nie en nie huil nie. So we praise him, like him, him, that doesn't laugh and also doesn't cry. So ons prys hom sluit aan by die titel, it links to the title, because obviously it's a Pryslied, and here it says we praise him. So die ons, alle Suid-Afrikaners, should refer to South Africans. Hy wat nie lag nie en nie huil nie, karaktertrek van Mandela. Hy is kalm in beheer, ernstig en wys nie te veel emosies nie. So it's obviously not saying that Nelson Mandela has like no emotions. That's obviously a lie. Everyone, well, most people have emotions. But it just says it's a characteristic of him as a leader, okay? In the sense that he's calm, he's in control, he's serious when he has to be, but he also had fun when he had to have fun. And he also doesn't show too much emotions. I think he had really good control of it while he was the president of our country, and something we needed just after apartheid. Eerste ratelaar van Mkhonto Wesizwe. So the first noisemaker of Mkhonto Wesizwe. So ratelaar, a raasmaker, a leier. So because it's like a noisemaker, it refers to a leader. He made noise, good noise. Okay. Mkhonto Wesizwe, spies van die nasie Xhosa, gewapende vleuel van die ANC. Mandela was 'n mede-stigter na die Sharpeville-moorde. So just Mkhonto Wesizwe refers to the spear of the nation, and it was like the weaponized wing of the ANC, and Mandela was like a co-creator after the Sharpeville deaths. It's a metaphor, raasmaker van Mkhonto Wesizwe, so it just says it's a metaphor, because he's the noisemaker of Mkhonto Wesizwe. And although we know there were a lot of other people who fought in the struggle, he was like a really big voice during the struggle and obviously after the struggle as well. Die swart pimpernel. So the black pimpernel. So joernaliste het hom die bynaam gegee omdat die polisie hom nie in die hande kon kry toe hulle hom probeer vang het nie. Naam van 'n karakter wat vir 'n ruk lank verdwyn en dan weer ewe skielik gesien word. Alleenplasing beklemtoon. So it just says like the black pimpernel actually refers to like, it's actually like a French, I think it's a French story where it comes from. It's like a character, it's the name of a character that disappears for like a while and then you see him again, and then disappear again and then you see it again. So like the character again. So in this case, journalists called Nelson Mandela this because the police couldn't catch him. But he would like appear every now and again, but the police still weren't able to actually catch him. Hy wat nie lag nie en nie huil nie. So, herhaling van versdeel 17 beklemtoon sy karakter. So the repetition of line 17 emphasizes Nelson Mandela's character. Hier staan hy dan nou voor ons. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. So here he stands in front of us. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. Progressie. So there's progression, okay? Versdeel 3, wie hy is. So in line 3 it said like who he is. Na versdeel 9 to line 9, waar hy vandaan kom, where he comes from. Na versdeel 21, wat hy gedoen het. So, like to line 21, that shows us what he did. So there's progression. Who he is, where he came from, and then what he did. And specifically what he did for South Africa, and also actually the whole world. Geboortenaam, Itlahla beteken tak, and Rolla beteken om uit te trek. So that's just important. Obviously refers to like his birth name, Rolihlahla. And Itlahla means branch, and Rolla means like to pull something, or to pull something out. Getrokke tak van lang gelede, die sleepsel van sy blare lê wyd. So it says sort of like the sort of broken branch of long ago, the toe of his leaves lay wide. So getrokke tak, woordspeling, letterlik tak wat los is. Figuurlik, Mandela het mense naam toe aangetrek. So it just says like, letterlik it refers to like literally it's a play on words, so literally it means like a branch that is a little bit loose, but figuratively what it sort of means here is that like Nelson Mandela like pulled people towards him. So die sleepsel van sy blare lê wyd, so metafoor waar hy gaan laat hy spore oor die hele wêreld. So like wherever Nelson Mandela, it's a metaphor because it basically says that wherever he went, he left his mark. He left something behind. And we know even up to this day, not just in South Africa, but all over the world, people learn about Nelson Mandela and the history of our country. Although I think in other countries it might be like a very minimal part that they actually learn. But it just refers to like what he leaves behind. Legendaries is hy, opspoorder van harte. So legendary is he, seeker of hearts. So legendaries in versie, omgekeerde woordorde, beklemtoon dat hy 'n legende is, skakel met versdeel 4, hooffiguur in ons geskiedenis. So it just says it's in versie, so the word order is changed. And what this is just doing is emphasizing how legendary he actually is. And specifically, we know that he is like the main figure, one of the main figures in our country's history. Opspoorder van harte, na die aandagstreep rede hoekom, so it just says, After the attention line in Afrikaans, it just gives us the reason why he is legendary. Hy maak die pante bymekaar van 'n verskillende land. So he takes the pieces, like the scraps, he puts the scraps together of a torn country. So pante, letterlik verskillende stukke van klere, figuurlik mense, rasse, volke, groepe. So literally what the pante refers to, like the torn parts of clothing, literally it refers to that, but figuratively refers to all the different people that we have in South Africa and all the different races, the different groups, cultural groups we have, the religion we have, like obviously we are called the Rainbow Nation for a reason. Inkeping, bring 'n land wat verskeer was saam, hy herstel gebroke verhoudings. So there's indentation again. And it's just also sort of emphasizing to say that he brings a country, like he brought a country that was completely torn apart, sort of back together. And he fixed a lot of broken, like, though it might not be literally, he fixed a lot of broken relations. Like, he fixed a lot of broken relationships between people of different races, of different religions, and yeah, that's what Nelson Mandela did. Hy draai ons na mekaar toe vir mekaar, so he turns us to each other, for each other. So hy bring versoening tussen mense, hy het vir ons Ubuntu gewys, die gemeenskap is belangrik. So he just brings like reconciliation between people, and he showed us, like what Ubuntu is. I think if it's like loosely translated, it is because like I am because we are, and it just focuses on how important the community is. Like I think always if you want to fix something, you start with the community and then you build up. Hy, heelmaker van mense, so him, healer of people. Hy beklemtoon sy belangrikheid, so just emphasizes his importance. Het die nasie heel gemaak en vrede gebring, so he was like the healer of the country and he brought peace within the country. Hy stig vrede, so it just says like he creates peace. Hy het vrede tussen nasies gebring, hy is 'n vredemaker. Hy het vrede gebring na jare van letterlike en figuurlike oorlog. So it just says like he brought peace between nations and he's like a peacemaker. He brought peace after years of literal and figurative war. Vrede, die ma van groot nasies. So peace, the mother of great nations. So skakel met vers 16, ons prys hom, want hy het sy merk of spoor op Suid-Afrika in die wêreld gelos. So just links vrede, links to line 16. And obviously also like the reason they also use vrede in here as well, he was a freedom fighter. And ons prys hom, so we praise him because he left his mark in South Africa and the world. Beklemtoon dat nasies net kan groei as daar vrede is. So saying that peace is the mother of all nations, or big nations, or great nations. It refers to the fact that it emphasizes that a country can only grow, or nations can only grow, when there is peace. And then I just added this quote that links to like communities by Audre Lorde. So if you want to read it, you can pause it. But I'm going to the next slide now. So hierdie is 'n lied, maar word mondelings voorgedra. So it says, although this is a song, it is just being spoken. It's not being like it's not being sung. Is sung or past tense of sing? Don't know. So dis klankryk, musikale elemente, ritme, alliterasie, assonansie en herhaling, bring eenheid en beklemtoon sekere woorde. So because it's not actually like being sung, when we like listen to the poem, when we read the poem the first time, you'd realize there's a lot of sounds in it, a lot of musical elements into it, like the enyambement and stuff like that, rhythm, alliteration, assonance, and repetition. And what all these things do, it brings unity to the poem and it emphasizes certain words. Thema, Mandela se lewe, karaktertrekke en invloed op mense word besing. So obviously the theme is Mandela and Nelson Mandela's life and his characteristics and the influence he had on people. And those things are being praised in this poem. Okay, so that's the end. Yeah, shame, I don't think this is the best interpretation I've had of a poem, but I hope it helps you and I'll upload a few other poems soon. Okay, tot ziens almal.